I'm Emily and I'm a primary school teacher in London.
My name is Alex and I am a student nurse in the UK.
My name is Dan and I'm a doctor in East London.
When COVID hit, I was quite worried. We didn't really know what to expect in the hospital. I remember going on my break and messaging my sister saying, "Our first COVID patient has just arrived on the ward." I was sitting there trying to hold back tears.
It was really scary at the start. Everyone was really worried. I think the bit that kind of got it for me is when, before lockdown, lots of families and lots of parents stopped sending their children into school, even about 3 weeks before Boris Johnson announced lockdown. And so I think when that happened, everyone was like, wow, okay, this is a really serious thing. And then obviously with schools closing, you don't work from home as a teacher. It's completely ridiculous. We were just had no idea what to do next. It was taking every second as it came.
I was working in one of the country's worst hit boroughs. We were all very nervous because we'd seen a lot about it in the press. And when we got our first patient, the vibe in the hospital changed very quickly. It was quite scary because a lot of us had no idea how to treat COVID. It was completely new to us, and as doctors that was terrifying because our job is to learn how to treat it. People felt very uncomfortable with what was coming and how it might affect our own health.
We had to have green wards, amber wards and the red wards, which were just for COVID patients. Wearing a mask for 12 hours a day on a shift, it's quite hard. When I went into intensive care and saw COVID patients ventilated, it just really hit home to how awful this pandemic is.
Teaching obviously is such an active job and you're always walking around and engaging with children and talking. And at my school we were pre-recording videos and uploading them onto Google Classroom for the children to view and look at, but you just didn't have that same interaction. We were lucky enough to get a big grant in order to buy more Chromebooks and install Wi-Fi in some of the children's houses because they didn't even have internet access. And so they were being sent home on the last day of school suddenly when lockdown was being announced with no access to any learning. We have to wear masks when we're walking around school. Yeah, everyone's just really cautious. So as soon as a child has a cough in your class, you're like, right, go and get a test straight away. And then it's kind of the worry about, oh, fantastic, now maybe does the whole class have to isolate for 2 weeks if this child has had COVID?
One really important aspect is people's facial expressions. When you don't see smiles or frowns, you can just see their eyes because we're wearing the hoods, the masks, everything. You really appreciate it when you can talk to someone face to face and see their reaction. And it was weird because I would go for months at work without seeing my colleagues' faces, and then you might see them getting changed, at the end of a shift. That would be the first time you'd seen them, having worked with them for 4 months. We had a lot of workshops on how to communicate in PPE. We would write our names in big permanent marker on our surgical gowns so people knew who we were, because you couldn't tell just by looking into the room. We're just like a sea of blue. We also got taught on how to use hand gestures and, communicating by writing things down on handover lists more clearly.
What helped me get through was knowing that it was not going to last forever. It also helped talking to my friends back at home all the time, talking to my family, just knowing that I was going to see them again soon. Especially in times like this, it's so important to check up on those to see how they are doing.
Christmas was a really sad time. Mum and Dad, up until the last point, were saying, oh, we're still going to come over, we might get our vaccines in time, we're going to come over and spend Christmas with you. And I think even up until like the week before, we were all so hopeful. And then, you just have a reality check and you just think, there's no way I can come home because of school holidays weren't long enough to isolate. But hopefully soon in the summer, I will be able to see them. Hugs, love, communication would just be really nice.
One really big thing which I didn't appreciate that I missed as much until we had lockdown was kind of like the community spirit in Guernsey. London's a very big place. It's not the same as Guernsey where you can walk down the high street and just see old, friends, work colleagues.
I think the main thing is knowing that everyone on Guernsey is safe. I think that's kind of the main thing that's helped me through. It sets a lot of anxiety and worries aside, knowing that lots and lots of people I love and care about are safe in Guernsey.
I know what this disease can do and I've seen it firsthand, so I'm glad that the number of cases are very, very low in the UK and now non-existent in Guernsey.
It's starting to get a lot better, so we are slowly getting rid of these red wards, and the intensive care unit has actually gone back to just a green ward completely. Obviously the vaccines are out now, and that's quite a positive thing, and they seem to be working.
Normally on Liberation Day, I would go down to the slipway at Cobo and have a memorial service, as my great-grandpa Fred Martel used to put the flag on the rock at Gross Rock. And so every Liberation Day we have a church service on the slipway and we bless the flag before it then gets rowed out to the rock. So that's something really special that I missed last year and will be missing again this year.
I really like going for a swim in the morning with my mates, and then probably go to town and generally stay there till the evening, watch the fireworks, the music, like the buzzing energy.
In Guernsey, I'd normally celebrate Liberation Day with my family. I remember every morning, I think it's at 10 a.m, the alarm sounds go off, and I remember every year always trying to listen to them from my house.
My favourite Lib Day memory was actually last year, seeing all the pictures of everyone's houses being covered in Guernsey flags and seeing town with flags everywhere, and the whole community spirit that Guernsey has really pulling together even through such a difficult time, still being able to be like, we're Guernsey together, we can beat this. It's great. I think seeing pictures of that was something that really made me feel so proud of Guernsey and so proud to be from Guernsey, where people are constantly uplifting people.